Caro Quintero breaks silence. Mexican rug lord behind Kiki Camarena's unaliving speaks out from U.S. prison. Rafael Caro Quintero, the founder of the infamous Mexican Guadalajara cartel, broke his silence since being extradited to the United States, lodging serious complaints about his treatment while detained in a federal prison in Brooklyn, claiming he is being subjected to conditions typically reserved for terrorists. Papa, that's how you got here. Huh? Didn't you get here because they say, hey, man, you moving like a terrorist? Come on, man. Didn't they classify y'all terrorists? How you think you got here? Another thing that's funny is, I don't know what kind of boss you were, Caro Quintero. People seem to think, Shy, man, you backwards, bro. You don't want prisoners to have rights. No, wrong. I believe there's a lot of prisoners that should have rights, right? I just think it's funny that when the toughest people that y'all say is the toughest people, right, who have kept people from their rights, basic human rights, water, food, oxygen, breath, I just think it's funny when they start crying like some hoes in jail because they're uncomfortable. I just think that's funny. Because you put them on this superhuman pedestal, right, and they just crawling around in the dirt like everybody else. And people say, oh, Shy, you think they should be mistreated because they're in prison? No, I just think, they should shut up about it if they are, because they've done that and worse. That's it. You don't like it. You don't have to like it. I don't give a shit what you like, but it is what it is. In a recent revealed statement, Caro Quintero, portrayed by Mexican actor Tenoch Huerta Mejia in the Netflix series Narcos Mexico, laments the extreme isolation and the lack of effective communication with his legal counsel and loved ones. He's talking that Chapo shit. How long Chapo been talking that shit? His legal team has challenged these restrictions, arguing that they are based on myths rather than any legitimate security concerns. Caro Quintero's heavily redacted letter, conveyed via his attorney Mark S. DeMarco and spotlighted by journalist Arturo Angel, directly appeals to U.S. District Judge Frederick Block, requesting that Judge Block issue an order immediately lifting the Special Administrative Measures, SAMs, imposed on Quintero. SAMs are an extreme process in U.S. law placed on prisoners who pose a substantial risk that communications or contacts with person could result in the unaliving or serious bodily injury to persons or substantial damage to property that would entail the risk of unaliving or serious bodily injury to persons. SAMs are particularly controversial as they allow communications between an attorney and their client to be monitored by authorities. Always assume they're listening, no? The statement reads, Mr. Quintero is essentially confined to a small windowless cell. Now, Mr. Quintero, what kind of small windowless cell was Kiki Camarena in? Huh? Okay, he was DEA. Let's take it somewhere else. Let's take him off the table because he was DEA, right? How much space and how many windows did anybody else that you kept from their human rights? How much room did they have? Upper echelon, salute to upper echelon on the check-in. Man, all the dudes that got extradited look terrified, and it's sad because mostly everyone regrets it once it's too late.
Upper echelon sent $19.99 on YouTube. Happy Friday, everyone is going to talk. Especially the last ones.
Especially the last ones, like this this last group that came through. Shout out upper echelon for the $19.99 super chat. Everyone's going to talk, especially the last ones. So that means this latest group, they're gonna be talking that shit. The statement reads, Mr. Quintero is essentially confined to a small windowless cell. He remains in his cell alone for 23 hours a day, Mondays through Fridays. On the weekends, he's confined 24 hours a day and not permitted any exercise. His meals are passed through a slot in the door. He eats alone, the light always on, with erratic air conditioning. He often lacks enough warm clothing or blankets to avoid shivering.
No, mommy's wake.
There's guys locked up for weed that's in worse conditions than that, bro. No llores, güey. Estás llorando tanto. No llores, güey. No llores. Huh? It's really hard is the mental torture of knowing that you're going to suffer in isolation and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, but let me tell you something. That's not a surprise. I guess it's a surprise once you feel it, right? Might have been different for you, because you probably never made the decision to snatch a motherfucker and put him in a room and leave him there for however long you wanted to. He has. Maybe. Allegedly, right? So he knows exactly what comes with that shit. That's why it's a tactic that he used. That's why I can't feel bad for him. In a sense, it's the same torture when they snatch people. But just imagine having a heads up. Heads up, heads down, me vale madre. That now you get it. Now you know what's happening. All these guys are ADX bound. Shout out Tere. Technically, he did this to many people. I guess you call that karma. I just think it's funny, you know. Everybody used to talk about Barbie. He's the Terminator. Huh? They chase him across the field. I need water. Really? I don't know. I feel like you kept water from people. All right. So, anyways, where we left off was he was shivering. Huh? Come on, man. You shivering? You a super gangster. Fuck is you talking about? The letter also details that except for visits from his legal team, Mr. Quintero is completely isolated. He's prohibited from sharing a cell or communicating in any way with other inmates. Mr. Quintero is a native Spanish speaker. He does not speak English.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
At certain periods, his housing unit appears to be staffed exclusively with guards, unable to communicate in Spanish. You want your own personal interpreter? Hit the like button, yeah? At the end of the statement, Quintero's lawyer requests that he be released from solitary confinement and placed in a less restrictive unit. On August 5th, 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice announced it would not seek the unaliving penalty for 3 notorious Mexican cartel leaders currently facing trial in the U.S. El Yoma, Caro Quintero, and Vicente Carrillo Fuentes. Caro Quintero is facing multiple federal charges, including narcotics trafficking, money laundering, conspiracy, and most infamously, the 1985 unaliving of DEA agent Enrique Kiki Camarena in Mexico. That's it, man. He's sad. He's lonely. Huh? Now, if you just sold dope and you just smoked your enemies, I'd probably have a little bit more remorse and respect for you, but that motherfuckers is oppressors, and I believe all power goes to the people. Yeah, that yo no hablo español has to be tough. Eso pasa. In the words of Oso, eso pasa. All I know is that the artist right here is wildin'. I think he's trying to make these guys look like officers with badges, but he put pentagrams on their chest and shit. This guy looks like Captain Kirk, Star Trek, wildin'. And this fucking guy's face is melting over here. But yeah, that's all he's doing. He wants a softer pillow. Alright, these are the guys you say, oh, the bosses, the jefes of the jefes. All that shit. And they're like, wah. And I get it, they're old men, but there's a bunch of people, innocent people. I'm not talking about ops. A bunch of innocent people that ain't old men right now because of these fools. Long story short, they're okay with taking away your liberties. Trump could talk all the shit he wants. Any cop, anybody, they'll take away your civil liberties, they'll take away your constitutional rights, they'll take away your human rights. The moment you do it to them, they cry like bitches. That's the moral of the story. Stop fucking, and this is not to the older people with some sense. This is for the kids. Stop looking at these dudes like they superhuman, right? These dudes is the only time they not pussy is, you know what I'm saying, when they get the power. When they get the power, they not soft. When the power's taken from them, soft as a bag of baby feet. Fuck out of here.